So I think I just need to do the right spelling over here, right? So I just misspelled those things right there. And again, it's root get account type of thing. So let me see. Set privileges, print. So we'll just print this again. Print. Get privileges. So let's just run that, make sure that when we run it, basically get account gives us access to different accounts. And so to be able to identify groups and everything, let's give them some privileges, right? So just for the account with ID 123, we're going to use iAccount read, right? And for the group, we can say iAccount write, something like that. All right. So so in both cases, we should be able to see read and write privileges printed, right? So read is 0 and the write is 1. So we should be able to see 0 and 1 printed on the screen if we save everything and run this, right? So it prints, actually it prints 3 and 0. 3, let's see what's going on here. Oh, because we actually add privileges together, that's why. Because when we construct new account, what we set here is we construct it with just the read privileges, but later on we say set privileges and we update the privileges, right? So and for 4, 5, 6 we change read, we change it to read, which is 0, and so this is I'd say that for clarity sake, I'll just say that this thing here should be named group instead of an account, right? That would add clarity to the code. So this is a group of accounts that we're manipulating here. So then what we can do is that we can actually take this group, right? Take this group, and add account, right? And we can create brand new account, which is 789 ID, and we can say iAccount.execute, right? iAccount execute, and give it the privileges. And so now we should be able to access this account through the root, right? We can say root get account, and we can pass 789 as an ID, and that should come back as a real account. And we should be able to print the privileges over here, right? And that should be matching privilege that which is specified as execute, which is 2, right? So in the end, we should be printing 2. So that would clarify that now we used our group to add the account, but we can still use the root node to access account with that ID. So let's see what happens. So here, 3, 3, and 2. So now after all of these manipulations, we do get our 2 in the end, and everything fits into the idea of this component, right? So in the end, what we did was that we actually did create. In the end, we essentially what happens here is let me arrange everything so that we can make everything visible, right? So what happens here is that first First, we constructed basically this root object, right? So we constructed the root, okay? Constructed the root object and named it root. And this root essentially got, let's see, if I'm a little bit more careful here, we can specify that. We can specify that my root over here is constructed with ID 1, right? So the ID of this root is 1. ID equals 1 inside this root, and it has the default, right? Default privileges inside, right? So we constructed this root object, and so we've got this object. So then we said root add account, and we create this account, right? So we created this account, an account object, which contains ID equals 1, 2, 3, right? And the privileges were set to just to read, right? So the read privileges were set there, right? So read was the privilege. Okay, so we added that to the root, right? And so we added this object. So then what we did was that we also said that we also want to have an account group, and we also added that to our root, right? Root add account. So we added another object, which is of course is a group of accounts, right? And we created that group with ID that equals 4, 5, 6 over here, and its privileges are, read, write, and execute. That's why we've got that output 3 over here. So we said read. I'll just abbreviate it to read, write, and execute. That's what was set in that object. So we added the group, right? Then we were able to go to the root over here and retrieve account based on its ID and then a group based on its ID. And we were able to update account privileges for 1, 2, 3 to we were able to update it to read, write, and execute as well, right? So we basically what we did is that we changed this, right? So we changed this to also read, write, and execute. We made this update, read, write, and execute. Okay, so then what happened was that we went ahead and we actually we created, so we did, what we just did was that we actually added brand new account with ID 789, right? With ID 789 over here, another account with ID equals 789. We added this, and the privileges that we used over here were just only the execute, right? So we just said execute. Okay, so we did this, right, with this account, and we added it to the group, right? And then what we were also able to do is that we went ahead and said root, right? We said root gives us an account with ID 789, right? So we actually use root, which was able to scan this account, said, no, that's not the one. Go to the group, is this the one? No. And ask the group do you have any children that match that ID 789? And it was able to give us an object, and when we said, print its privileges, of course, it printed number 2, which matches the privileges for the execute, right? So this is what we got so far in this demo for the composite. But you can see that once the whole interface and objects that implement this interface, both group and individual account, are in place and part of the code, it is pretty amazing how you can combine everything and what you can do with with both groups and individual accounts. So it truly is now I have everything I need to build trees and combine those categories any way I want. So it's pretty powerful design pattern. It's not that complicated, but it's pretty powerful in terms of how it can be used. And so the interface can grow in terms of the number of methods that it can support, and of course each individual class can add its own its own functionality to the entire application. So we'll just wrap it up at this. This is all time we have today. So I'll just post the sample on the sample page, and we'll take it from there.